Wild for the Weekend is sponsored by the following supporters.
Hopcop Premium Meats are third-generation BC farmers, roaming pasture-fed, non-GMO, grain-finished cattle with no added hormones and steroids. We source local produce and specialty grocery selections located on Old Dewdney Trunk Road in Pitt Meadows. hopcopmeats.ca.
Welcome to our second episode in our holiday special of Wild for the Weekend. We are going to indulge today, play with a little bit of sturgeon. We're going to really get rich and gorgeous with some ganache. And we are going to treat turkey to a little bit of a porking. Join us in a few minutes on Wild for the Weekend. Welcome back to Wild for the Weekend, our holiday special. It's just a joy having you around. We're going to, first of all today, make this beautiful, what I nicknamed it was the bootlace turkey roll, but I basically just took an older recipe that I had written and developed it into this beautiful turkey recipe. When I make my turkey at Christmas time, I often will stuff it with a sausage meat, a force meat, and it's got a pork base in it. So I thought, well, instead of taking the whole bird, there's only two of us, it's so stupid. Let's take the breast, let's take some pork, because we're using that in the stuffing anyway. So I love that turkey pork flavor together. I'm really keen on the dried fruits, so we'll put that in it, and I have created this dish. So let's go ahead and make this. Underneath our parchment, I have taken a turkey breast that I went to our butcher and I just said to our butcher, can you please take 2 breasts off a turkey for me? They did it just beautifully. So get to know your butcher, ask them. This is a beautiful free-range turkey that we have here, and I've just taken the turkey breast and I hit it with a weight and just flattened it out. Very, very easy. You want to take it to about twice the size that it originally came. I have on the board here a beautiful pork loin, and it's been dressed and cleaned by the butcher, so it's taken all of the fat off of it, all of the sinew away from that, so it's just the pure, beautiful pork muscle. And what I want to do is I don't want to break this down. If I use the weight on this to flatten this out, it's going to tear the pork into strands, and we want to avoid that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to roll it out. I'm going to take this tube and roll it out, and I'm going to show you how you do that. Basically, what you want to do is on the fattest part of the pork, take your blade and go in and cut as if you were going to cut all the way through, but don't, and then turn it. So you'll feel like you've gotten close to the bottom. Then turn the pork, take your blade and cut through again, and open it out. So you see how I'm opening that pork right out? And if you feel that it's a little bit too thick still, you'll have some ridges in here. Again, just take the blade and open that out. We'll call this butterflying, where we're basically taking the thickness of the protein and we're thinning it out, just so that we can use it. I'm just going to thin this one out a little bit so that I can spread that out there as well. Take that off, and I'm just going to put this piece over here where it's a little thinner. So, very, very easy. Take our beautiful turkey breast and season that with a little bit of salt. I want to take some fresh sage. I haven't chopped it. I'm not going to chop it. I'm just going to take the leaves and pick them off and pour them onto the top. This dish was originally called the bootlace for the way that I used to tie it up, because it was the simplest thing in the kitchen that I used to make, and really came from melding together some ingredients that I had left in the fridge. And then again, for the holiday season, let's zhuzh it up a little bit. When you're doing the pork can be quite rich, so use the loin. It's got such a lovely flavor and texture to it. And just take the pork and lay it on top of the turkey breast. And again, we're going to season that with a little bit of salt. This time we're going to add some pepper to there, fresh ground black pepper. And on top of that, I'm going to put some currants, whatever currants you like. I like the darker ones. These are actually a grape currant, organic, really beautiful. So they're lovely and soft too. They've got really nice textures. They're not hard. Some goji berries, really, really good, high in antioxidants. And I learned today, exceptionally good for your eyes. So that's a key thing, remember that. And a little bit of a crunch. I love the crunch that the goji give you in the middle too. They'll fatten up, but they'll have a little crunch. Some gorgeous, beautiful, rich dates. Just take the dates and put them on top. What the dates will do is they'll actually cream up and create a really lovely kind of milky creaminess into the whole dish that will keep the fruits bound together, so it'll allow you to not have them fall out. And these, traditionally, beautiful white cranberries. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to move our board out of the way and take our turkey breast, and what you're going to do is use the paper and fold it in on itself and press it down. So you're creating a roll. And then again, fold it in on itself and create that roll nice and tight. You see how I'm pushing down? Nice and tight, so that you've created this beautiful roll. Then tear your parchment paper, because I'm big on reusing, because we haven't really damaged this parchment paper and we can use it in the oven. Fold that over, and again, just a little bit of seasoning on top. Not too much, just to allow those flavors to blend through. We're going to pop this into an oven at about 375 for about 15 minutes, lower the temperature down to about 350, and then we're going to keep cooking that for another hour or so. It'll take about an hour and a half for this. So we'll pop that into our oven. So through the magic of television, we have a beautifully cooked turkey breast here that we put in a little earlier. And a secret ingredient has added to it, but it slipped off a little bit. What I did was I snuck in a little bit of chocolate a few minutes ago when we were just finishing off the turkey. And I'm going to just spread it around gently, because what's happened is that although it's melted, it's called tempered. So the chocolate form itself hasn't changed. It's kept the shape that it had. But if we take our blade and just run it over, see how beautifully creamy that is? And what that will do is that will just give that a gorgeous, beautiful decadence into our really lovely turkey roulade. Now we're going to lift this off. The crucial thing here is we want to allow this to rest for about 5 to 7 minutes. Got my hand covered in chocolate there. 5 to 7 minutes. And we want that to happen because we want the juices to run back into the turkey, back into that pork. All of that lovely flavor that we took the time to put in there and roast, and that layering that we did with the herbs and the dried fruits and everything. So what you would do is you would let that rest for up to about 5 minutes, and that juice, all those juices are going to come back in. The chocolate we used again was this 70%. I love the 70% cocoa because it's got such a high cocoa content, a really savory flavor against proteins, which is really gorgeous. So I serve it usually on a board very similar to this, and take our serrated blade, and what I do is I just cut it into about 1 inch thick darns, and you'll start seeing that lovely stuffing that we did, gorgeous hot. You see that there, the lovely stuffing that we did with all those beautiful fruits and the dates, the apricots, the lovely raisins, and the pork and the turkey, and you see that gorgeous shape that it comes in. So serve it on a board, and a little bit of grains and vegetables to go with that is a really gorgeous dinner. You don't need a gravy with this because the chocolate adds that beautiful richness into it. Really lovely dish. I hope you enjoy this one. When we come back, we are going to be cooking a beautiful white Fraser River sturgeon and coating it in a really decadent cream sauce. We'll see you again in a few minutes on Wild for the Weekend.
Wild for the Weekend is sponsored by the following supporters.
Hopcop Premium Meats are third-generation BC farmers, roaming pasture-fed, non-GMO, grain-finished cattle with no added hormones and steroids. We source local produce and specialty grocery selections located on Old Dewdney Trunk Road in Pitt Meadows. hopcopmeats.ca.
Wusthof, manufacturer of world-famous forged knives since 1814. Mastered collections of Wusthof Classic Icon, Gourmet, Le Cordon Bleu, Grand Prix 2, Silver Point and Pro. Born 3 eggs are from the Fraser Valley and are now available in white and brown. Born-free eggs are omega-3 polyunsaturated eggs that are a source of vitamin E and vitamin D. Urban Fare, a fresh, healthful supermarket dedicated to specialty foods like gluten-free and BC products. Mobile Bandit is an app that helps you find local deals on your smartphone. Downloadable on all devices and no membership is required. Visit mobilebandit.com for more info. Golden Ears Cheeseworks, artisan cheese made in the Fraser Valley. Golden Ears Cheeseworks, cheese made with a family farm milk. 3-year cheddar, Yorkshire Blue, and Brie. Hagen's Board Chocolates is a boutique Vancouver-based chocolate company that has been producing European chocolate since 2006. Pure Verona chocolate.
Anita's Organic Flour and Mixes has over 20 years providing whole grain products from Canadian farmers. Anita's is certified organic grains, flour, cereals, mixes and sprouted products. Their granite stone mills and low temperature milling preserve the nutrition for whole grain food. AnitasOrganic.com.
Welcome back to Wild for the Weekend. We're going to cook something very unusual now. Not everybody has tasted this. A lot of people have caught this, but they've given it back. And we are actually going to cook some sturgeon, beautiful white Fraser River sturgeon. This fish has been alive, not this fish personally, but this species of fish have been alive since before dinosaurs. And like I said earlier, where I live on the Fraser River, our house, we actually have a little pet sturgeon who lives underneath us. And I discovered recently that they will stay in a spot on a river, but travel up to 100 kilometers to go and spawn. But they will actually have their house further away from that. I don't know, I think going away for a little tryst on the weekend is not a bad idea. There are obviously two kinds of sturgeon, the boy and the girl, and they're very, very different in the meat that they produce. Boys produce a much fatter sturgeon and a lot more fat in the belly of the sturgeon, and females produce a lot less fat, and the fat actually increases the older the sturgeon get. But I chose today some male sturgeon. This came from the side of the sturgeon, just a beautiful piece. Sturgeon should be harvested and then it should mature for about 5 to 7 days. You shouldn't eat sturgeon right away. It needs a little bit time to relax, have those fats really break down. And if you don't allow it to have that time to mature, it'll be very, very tough and very, very fishy, which is unusual. So once it's matured, you have about a 10-day life on it, which is a good life on it. I'll show you just on the underside. This is a very thick skin that this animal has, and it's a very tough skin to get through. So the easiest way of doing it is to take a serrated knife. We'll go through the meat and want to cut the sturgeon about 1 inch in the thickness. And the reason that I want to do it about 1 inch and not much thicker is it takes about 3 minutes an inch to 6 minutes an inch for it to cook. And so I want to not have to turn this sturgeon. Once we put it in the oven, I want to just leave it on one side. And see how harsh it is. You've got to use a very good blade to get through this. There's a beautiful, look at this, a beautiful color of the sturgeon down at the back. This is actually part of the fat down here as well. And just as much as you would see it in salmon, it's a similar sort of thing. So here we go, this beautiful sturgeon. Cut it through. And if you don't see sturgeon in your fishmonger, ask for it because it is readily available. This sturgeon is actually freshwater farmed, so it doesn't affect, I'm not really a big guy for farming seafood, but I don't mind this freshwater farming because it doesn't affect the bottom of the seabed. And the water, sturgeon won't grow in dirty water. They just don't like it. They like clean water. And as much as you would think the Fraser River is kind of a dirty river, it is actually quite clean and doesn't have many chemicals in it, so the sturgeon will eat very well. Let me just rinse my hands off. We basically take this sturgeon now, just a tiny little bit of seasoning, just a little bit of salt and pepper, not too much. No oil. There's an awful lot of oil in that fish. And if you look closely, let me just tilt this up for you. If you look closely, you'll see a slightly yellow tinge in the sturgeon here and here. That's the fat, and that's what we want to cook down. So we're going to pop this into the oven, and it's going to cook at You can either broil it and turn it after 3 or 4 minutes, or cook it at about 350, 375 for about 8 minutes, and it will cook beautifully. You'll see in the oven we have one ready. So, what to add to the sturgeon as it's the holiday season? I decided that we'd have a little bit of decadence and a little bit of luxury. So, in my skillet, a little garlic, some shallot, and mushrooms, and we're just going to bring that up to a really nice heat. And all I did with the shallot, these are rather large shallots, but just took the shallot and just chopped it down very fine. Mushrooms, just took the husks out and chopped them down very fine. I've separated out some egg yolks, some cream, and some goat's cheese. And this is going to be the sauce that we put onto this. What you can do is you can actually take the goat's cheese, the cream, and the egg and put it into a bowl and mix it, and then drizzle it on top of the sturgeon, and it really is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And pop it back into the oven, it'll grill up just gorgeously. So in our skillet we have our garlic, our mushrooms, our shallots just beautifully burning in a really lovely butter. I'm going to add some cream to that because it's the holiday season and we can be a little bit decadent. And we're just going to mix that around. When you're cooking with cream, this is a very thin sauce at the moment, so you want to thicken it up. And the trick is, how do you go about doing that without making it like solids? You've got to be able to thicken it up a little bit. First thing that I'm going to do is take a little bit of goat's cheese and just crumble that in there. Goat's cheese is going to add just a tiny bit of deep, rich flavor, and it will aid it just ever so slightly in thickening up. But the trick is going to be the addition of an egg yolk. Let me just flick one egg yolk in there and mix it right away. And you'll notice how thick that sauce got right away. And that is what we wanted to happen, that beautiful thick glaze. So we're going to take that off and turn that off now. I'm going to go away and turn off. I'm going to go to our oven and just grab our sturgeon. Our beautiful sturgeon that's been cooking. And you can serve it with the skin on, but I like to take the skin off. It just looks a little, I think it just looks a little more attractive. So I take the skin and this little bit of fat that's on the bottom away. And just use your palette knife and lift the sturgeon over to your plate. And we're going to accompany it with some really beautiful, I got some really gorgeous beetroots, full beetroots, and some carrots, really nice. I don't like to add too many things to the plate when I'm doing this dish. I like it to be quite simple and delicious. So a little bit of our sauce goes on top of that. And that is our sturgeon, our white Fraser River sturgeon with a beautiful cream shallot sauce and our fresh vegetables. A really lovely dish for the Christmas season, the holiday season. I hope you enjoy it. And when we come back, we are going to make some beautiful ganache shortbread cookies. We'll see you in just a few minutes on Wild for the Weekend.
Wild for the Weekend is sponsored by the following supporters.
Hopcop Premium Meats are third-generation BC farmers, roaming pasture-fed, non-GMO, grain-finished cattle with no added hormones and steroids. We source local produce and specialty grocery selections located on Old Dewdney Trunk Road in Pitt Meadows. Hopcopmeats.ca.
Wusthof, manufacturer of world-famous forged knives since 1814. Mastered collections of Wusthof Classic Icon, Gourmet, Le Cordon Bleu, Grand Prix 2, Silver Point, and Pro. Born 3 eggs are from the Fraser Valley and are now available in white and brown. Born 3 eggs are omega-3 polyunsaturated eggs that are a source of vitamin E and vitamin D. Urban Fare, a fresh, healthful supermarket dedicated to specialty foods like gluten-free and BC products. Mobile Bandit is an app that helps you find local deals on your smartphone. Downloadable on all devices and no membership is required. Visit mobilebandit.com for more info. Golden Ears Cheeseworks, artisan cheese made in the Fraser Valley. Golden Ears Cheeseworks, cheese made with a family farm milk. 3-year cheddar, Yorkshire Blue, and Brie. Hagensport Chocolates is a boutique Vancouver-based chocolate company that has been producing European chocolate since 2006. Pure Verona chocolate.
Anita's Organic Flour and Mixes has over 20 years providing whole grain products from Canadian farmers. Anita's is certified organic grains, flour, cereals, mixes, and sprouted products. Their granite stone mills and low temperature milling preserve the nutrition for whole grain food. AnitasOrganic.com.
Welcome back to Wild for the Weekend. We have not finished with the indulgence and the decadence yet. We are moving on to a beautiful shortbread cookie tart. Actually, this is my grandmother's old shortbread recipe, and I've developed it into a beautiful little tart with ganache and nuts and some lovely dried fruits. So the very first thing that we have going on in our pot is our cream has come to a scald, and a scald is where you see it just starting to come to a rolling boil. Like, we haven't used enough chocolate in our beautiful decadent holiday special. We're going to add some more of this beautiful dark 70% cocoa chocolate. Remember, high cocoa content. We want to make a really beautiful ganache here. So chop up the chocolate bars. This cream, there's about maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of cream in there. It's going to take 2 to maybe 3 regular sized chocolate bars. Again, don't get chocolate bars that have things in them. Just get your favorite chocolate. And to make a ganache, we simply pour the cream in the chocolate, mix it together and stir it. And what happens is, again, that fat content from the cream causes the chocolate to separate and be held. This wouldn't work if we had it in water. Again, I mentioned earlier, it wouldn't work. And to that, we're going to add some really beautiful seasonal ingredients. Or first, we're going to put in a little bit of coconut, shaved, unsweetened coconut. Then we're going to put in some nuts, really gorgeous nuts, some sultanas raisins, some goji berries, and some cranberries again. So just put in a pile, whatever measurement you think works well. Thicker the better, thinner, whatever you enjoy. And stir this around, and it will make this beautiful, dark, rich, creamy, decadent chocolate. See that? And it just turns instantly. So, our shortbread. The shortbread recipe is simple. It literally is flour, a little bit of sugar and butter. So you want to take about 4 ounces of butter, 2 ounces of sugar, and 6 ounces of flour. The thing that you want to do is really work with a beautiful flour. Again, go and see the organic mill that we're using at Anita's, but choose a flour wisely. If you're going to eat these decadent things, make them good for you. Your body just absorbs it much better. So our beautiful, soft, it's like almond paste, this shortbread pastry. Really beautifully done. Roll it out, and you want them to be rolled out to about 1/4 of an inch thick. Not much more than 1/4 of an inch thick, but not much less. We don't want it too thin. Just taking a regular cup and make your circles. They should pop out really easily. And once you've got your circles cut out, I'll show you what to do. We're going to put them into our baking tray. This is like a little kind of baking tray, a little muffin top kind of baking tray that I found. All I'm doing is taking the shortbread in there, and around the side, just push it in and it'll sink down, creating the cup that we're looking for. And this cup is what's going to hold all of the beautiful decadent stuff that we love at Christmas. And you could put anything in here. I've cooked these. I've served it with ice cream and a warm chocolate sauce over it. I've made them into cups, and we've done more of the same where we're doing this ganache kind of thing, or caramel, all of these lovely dishes. Once they all go into the dish, you're going to pop this into the oven at around about 350, 375 for anything from 8 to 10 minutes, but not any longer. You want them to be brown but not burnt on the outside. And depending on the butter that you use inside the paste will depend on the darkness that you get out. So if you're using a commercial butter, it will take a little longer to cook. If you're using a beautiful handmade butter that we use from our cheeseworks, then it's going to cook at a much faster rate and brown much quicker, so be cautious of that. We'll pop this into our oven. We'll cook them off for about 10 minutes. And we've already made our ganache. So once we've made the ganache and we have our finished shortbread, and these are really short. These ones are beautifully short cooked. We're going to take our, I'm just going to grab a little spoon. We're going to take our ganache and just spoon the ganache into these little tarts. What it does is that chocolate with the beautiful dried fruits and the nuts makes it so gorgeous and decadent. I like to just top them with a nut so they look pretty. And that is it. I have loved having you over for our holiday special. It's been a lot of fun. We've gone the whole gamut from Mrs. Beaton and her crab brulee to a beautiful stuffed turkey and pork loin dish. And we're finishing off with my grand shortbread ganache tart cookies. We're looking forward so much to see you again on Wild for Weekend, and thank you for spending this special time with us. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.